evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you for coming. Braving the Elements. I tell you what, it was a great debate today, trying to decide to have a banquet or not have a banquet. And probably around noontime, we decided to have it anyway. So we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that the weather doesn't get to the point to where folks have difficulty, or making it home or whatever. Talked to the coaches. They've all promised me that they would be pretty quick in their introductions, but still we want to properly recognize the athletes on the successful seasons we've had. Anyway, we'll get on with it. Kelsey Inman will lead us in invocation, so if we could have everyone bow their heads, please.
Dear Heavenly Father, we wish to thank you for all the athletes, coaches, and their parents here tonight. Lord, bless us in these your gifts which we receive from your bountiful goodness through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thanks, Kelso. Okay, Judy, Sharon, our cooks have fixed another wonderful meal of turkey dressing and all the trimmings again. Anyhow, without any further delays, we'll go ahead and eat. And since there's not many people sitting here at middle table, that table will go first. No, guys, wait. You got to wait for the head table. Some hungry youngsters. Anyhow, then we'll go next by the outsides and then by the insides, okay? So head table, let's go get it started. Guys, wait for the head table. You'll be last. Okay, if we could have everyone be seated and we'll get on with festivities. Thanks, Judy, and lunch ladies back there for a good meal again. Give them a hand. Okay, to start off with tonight, we will begin the program with boys basketball. We'll hear from Coach McDaniel, the JV coach. He'll introduce the JVers, and he'll be followed by Coach Coleman introducing the varsity. So, Coach McDaniel.
Thank you, Matt Meyer. All right, I think I only got 3 guys up here today, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of your time. Going into the season this year, I have to admit I usually have high expectations, but this year wasn't exactly sure what was coming my way. I knew that we had low numbers. Beginning of the year, I think we barely even had 5 to start out the season, ended up with 8. All right, and didn't have a lot of experience either. Jump from middle school basketball at JV is pretty significant. Had a lot of help from some of the juniors on, some of the games and everything. But a lot of these freshmen and sophomores were thrust in a role that normally, they probably wouldn't be in if we had more people. I heard a lot of comments throughout the year too, especially toward the end, about how far some of these players have come from middle school into high school and have done a lot better, which was good news for me and for them. I think the players, though, would contend that we should have won 3 or 4 more games. But like I said, at the beginning of the season, I thought if we won just a handful of games, it'd be a pretty good success. But to end up the season at 10-9, it was a very highly successful season. All right, now for 2007-2008 JV Dragons. Evan Weiler. If they're not here, I'm just going to run through them quick. Chris Bosler, Jacob Kent, Donald Cox, Jacob Turek, Tiny Justin Gray, Brock Meyer, and Keith Falk. So as you can see, this is kind of how the season started. Thanks, a blanket. Cool.
It's inside.
Oh, okay. No, like I said, this is kind of how the season started. We only had a few, and we didn't know exactly who all was going to show up from time to time. There was only 8, so scrimmaging was pretty much a problem because you need 10 total. So they said with 8 it was pretty hard. The only thing is, like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but one thing I do want to say is there's a lot of potential for improvement with even these 3 right here, and I wish the other 5 were here. But they have to work at it. The person standing next to them may not necessarily have as much basketball talent as the one next to them, but if they attend open gyms, camps, lift weights, just get in the gym and work on the necessary skills, each of them can become better players. It basically boils down to my dad's favorite quotes, and I hear it all the time because he wants to make sure it's in my brain. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. And as long as these guys here work hard, it doesn't matter how much talent they have, the hard work is the thing that's going to persevere over everything else. All right, these are your JV Dragons.
All right, I'd like to start off by thanking a lot of people, the boosters for everything they've done, the administration, especially Coach Stolzer for all his help and support. I think I was kind of a pain in the side this year, being the first year, and a lot of questions and concerns. I'd like to thank the band and the dance team and the cheerleaders and their coaches for everything they've done, creating the atmosphere that we need. I know the cheerleaders especially had to do a lot during tournament time with a lot of games, doing guys and girls. I'd like to thank Ms. Floff and Ms. Faulkner for always having the towels and the water bottles at the games for the guys. I'd like to thank Mr. Gibson for keeping the book. He's not here tonight, but he did all the games in the book, and it's pretty nice to just know that somebody's going to be there that knows what's going on. I'd like to thank Mr. McDaniel for all his help. I think he'll be handing around a collection for whiteboards because he broke 2 of them this year. I'd like to thank my managers, Kinsey and Mallory, and Blake Meyer, our water boy. And I'd also like to finally thank the parents and all your support and help, everything you guys done. I know some of you had to tape a few games. Ms. Faulkner did some scouting for us and taped our opponents. And all the help you did this summer with the bake sale and taking the guys to the tournaments we went to. It's greatly appreciated. Finally, I'd like to thank the players. They gave me a pretty good first season. A great group of guys, worked really hard. I really feel sorry for the next teams to come because they have a lot to live up to. They did a great job. Our record was 15-12. The boys accomplished a lot this season. We didn't do some of the goals we had set, but I think 15 wins is tied for the 3rd most in the season. We beat North County 3 times, which has never been done before, and it's hard to beat one team 3 times. We also made it to the championship game in the conference tournament, which I don't think St. Genevieve's ever been to. So, they did accomplish a lot, and I think the most thing they accomplished is that they raised the bar for St. Genevieve basketball. I just hope the teams that come can keep that up. Let's start off. I'm going to bring you up in classes. Start with our 2 sophomores, Keith and Brock. You guys can come on up here. They didn't get a whole lot of playing time. We did have a lot of seniors and juniors, but they did earn a varsity uniform with all their hard work and dedication in the summer. They worked around a lot, open gyms, and did a lot of things I asked them. Brock did earn a varsity letter for playing enough quarters, and Brock stepped up and had a few good games in the conference tournament. So I'm looking forward to having these 2 guys next year full-time, and they're going to have to step up and really fill some roles. I had 4 juniors, so Travis, Adam, and Josh, and Corey, you guys come up here. The junior class is pretty talented. We started off with quite a bit more and dwindled down to the 4 we have. First, Travis. Travis is a pretty good, very talented player. I know he didn't probably get the playing time he wanted to. He's got a lot of potential. and so I'm looking forward to having Travis another year. Adam Roth is one of the hardest working guys on the team. He has a nice shot, stepped up and gave us a lot of good minutes off the bench. And I think if Adam keeps working the way he always has, he's going to play a big role next year and be a big help for us. Josh Meyer. Josh worked himself up to a starting spot towards the end of the year. Really helped us with the point guard spots, allowed us to move Corey down a little more, to where we can use his size. And Josh had some games where he got hot and kind of held us out with some outside shooting. I know Josh's first love is baseball, but if he'd just work a little bit on basketball in the summer, I think he would really step into that point guard spot for us and help us out a lot. And finally, Corey Faulkner. Corey's played a role he's probably not, likes too much, but it's pretty nice to have a 6'4", 200-some-pound point guard out top. I know he likes to go down low and get in there and fight a little bit, but a lot of teams, I thought they'd press us, and I think that's one reason they didn't is because we have him up there. He had a great season, had some big games, scored 20 or more points. Just really did a good job a lot of times with the size we had. He had a mismatch on him, so we could get him down low. And Corey did get second team all-conference. And finally, our seniors. You guys want to head up here? Carl Grass, David Ogden, Matt Meyer, Kurt Roth, Blake Armbruster, and Eric Schrader. We'll start with Carl. Carl was a joy to coach. He worked hard all summer long. I wish everyone, had Carl's attitude. Didn't matter, what I'd say to him. He never really got down on himself. Played excellent defense, especially early on in the year. He also had some big games where he kind of went on hitting some threes on a streak. It was a big help. David, is very similar to Carl, and probably they didn't really like it, but they split a lot of time. Both has kind of the same attributes. Worked real hard on defense, could play outside, handle the ball a little bit. So neither of them probably got the playing time they wanted to, but it was kind of like you take one out, you put another one in, and you really didn't lose anything. The next one is Matt Meyer. If you don't believe people can change, this guy's proof of it. Matt was awesome this year. Every day in practice, he worked his butt off. If he got in the game, he didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but when he was in there, he was ready to play. This shows his character. A guy that doesn't play near as much came up to me one day and just told me, he was the coach, I'm really enjoying the year, and I'm happy with all the playing time I'm getting. And if you were at the games, he didn't get near as much as probably the rest of them, and he was still happy with it. So that shows a lot about Matt and what he is as a man. The next one is Kurt Roth, and I think Kurt is kind of the nicest big enforcer that I've ever seen. He's a big, strong kid inside, but probably wouldn't hurt a fly if it was biting him. He did a great job. He wasn't a big scorer for us, but I think if you look at defensively and what the other teams did, if you look at their big guys, I don't think there's one game where the opposite big guy really hurt us. Kurt was always down there battling, trying to throw elbows and really getting the rough part down low, and he never complained once. He worked hard all year long, and he did a great job. The next one is Blake Armbruster, probably our best team player and leader. Blake was always the one that was encouraging guys, trying to push them to work harder. Usually one of the first ones in the gym on game day to come early and shoot. Sometimes the last one to leave at practice. Just really all-around great guy, great leader, to coach. And the last one is Eric Schrader, probably our best all-around player. Being 6'4", can handle the ball outside, can't shoot as near as well as I think he thought he could, but no, just kidding. He could shoot from outside, can post up, rebounds. I mean, really, a guy that I could do anything with and put him in any spot, and he could handle it. He handled the pressure, and just did a great job. He had some big games, scoring over 20 points and 30, I think once, maybe twice. So really stepped it up. Eric was also the one guy that usually put him on the best other player on the other team we had. So, it wasn't like he was down there, resting on defense and playing offense. He had his work cut out for him on the defensive end too, and he stepped up all the time. And Eric also received first team all-conference. Yeah. Last ones is Kinsey Moss, one of our managers, and Mallory Whipfler, and Blake Meyer, our water boy. These guys did a lot of work for me. Kinsey especially was with us all year long. Put up with a lot of my stuff, a lot of things I asked her to do she probably wasn't used to. She's kind of like my own personal secretary. Mallory stepped in and helped Kinsey out a lot with stats. And did a good job. And they were also my dress coordinators. If I wore something they didn't like, they would let me know it. At least I guess I always looked good at the games because they were there to help me. And then also Blake helping out with making sure the guys got water and towels, and that's pretty important for these guys when they come off the floor. So this is your varsity Dragons. We got some awards to hand out. The first one is going to be our leading rebounder, and this was a pretty close tie. The winner actually won by I think it was 0.5 in rebounds, so that's Corey Faulkner. We had a free throw percentage award, and we had a couple guys that I think had a higher percentage than what this one did, but they only shot about 8 or 9 free throws, and so as coaching staff we thought it should be someone who shot quite a bit, and that was Eric Schrader. Our assist leader goes to Corey Faulkner. Our tenacity award is something that we like to give out and kind of decide which guy worked the hardest, never really gave in or gave up. It just has that fight in him all the time, and that goes to Eric Schrader. And the last one is the most valuable player. You may know who it is. He worked hard, and you can see, that it's paid off. I mean, he worked the hardest this summer than probably anybody, and I think he's still got a lot of potential. And if he would keep working hard, I think he'd go to the college level and play, quite a bit, and actually be a really good player. And that is Eric Schrader. You guys should be proud of yourself. You accomplished a lot this year. I just hope that the juniors and sophomores, that you guys will see what these seniors have done and started, and keep working hard. And so next year we can improve on our record and maybe win some conference or a district. You guys should be proud of yourself. Thank you.
Real quick.
That's all.
Hurry up, guys.
All right, first of all, I'd like to thank coaches for putting up with us this year. I'd like to thank our parents, too, for getting us up, making us work, and letting us play basketball. Thank Kenzie and Mallory for doing a great job with the managing this year and the survival packs before the district championship game. And then basically, I don't know, for the underclassmen, just work hard next year and let it pay off for you. Anybody else?
Rule number 1, be kind to your Lord. Be kind. Rule number
That one looks like it won't break so easily, doesn't it?
Oh my.
Okay, moving on along, we would like to recognize our cheerleaders. Mrs. Loppy will introduce the basketball cheerleaders, and Mrs. Geck will introduce the wrestling cheerleaders.
Good evening. On behalf of Coach Geck and myself, we would like to, first of all, thank the coaches for all their help with transportation issues and getting us to and from games and helping us to feel like part of the team. I know Coach Coleman and Coach Vogt oftentimes said that they really enjoyed us being there, that it seems to help a little bit having us cheering on the crowd and getting everybody in the mood. Basically, the cheerleading season this time, we started out having a rough season. We had small squads. First we had wrestling cheerleaders, and then we had basketball cheerleaders, and we had very small squads. And I think at many times the cheerleaders felt somewhat embarrassed when we were at games with 5 cheerleaders and a school would show up with 15. That's whenever we decided to do something a little different. We combined the squads into one. That was about halfway through the season, and it helped out quite a bit. I think they felt a little more at ease and weren't so embarrassed from time to time. We've been very busy, cheering anywhere from 2 to 4 nights a week. The girls have worked really hard between games, assemblies, practices, making signs. They've really put a lot of time and effort into this, and they've done a great job. The awards they are about to receive are based on what we call merit system. They start out with 100, and if they mess up doing something, they lose a couple demerits, and we give them awards based on how they finish the season out. So, are you ready, girls? I'm going to call your name. You can go ahead and come on up and get your award from Coach Geck. LaToya Carson. She started out as a wrestling cheerleader and joined on with the basketball squad. We also found out just recently that LaToya is an awesome dancer. She learned to dance in about 5 minutes the other day so we could perform for a school that came to watch. Trisha Cash, is she here? No? Okay. Alyssa Kastner, she's not here either, is she, girls? Tasha Degenhardt, come on up, Tasha. Tasha's been with us since the beginning of the season. She cheered for football and volleyball and now also basketball. She's got a great smile and a great personality. Andy Ernst, is she here? No? Carrie LaRose, I see you over there. Carrie's also been with us for the entire year. She started out with football and volleyball and wanted to be a wrestling cheerleader and was for a while and joined us with basketball. Amber Matthews, come on up. This girl has probably got to be the most excited person of the night, which is the same for every night. Amber is, she just made the cheerleading squad this year. She's a freshman, and she cheered with the basketball squad. Chelsea Rosen, was she able to make it? Oh, there she is. If you have not been to a basketball game and watched Chelsea do her backflips across the floor, she is amazing. She can do like 10 in a row. Way to go, Chelsea. Alicia Smith. Alicia has also been with us through the entire year, cheering football and volleyball, and then also basketball. She's always smiling, always ready to do her job. And Amanda Stupi. Yay. Amanda she pretty much keeps me in line. She tells me the way it is and the way it's going to be, and this is how we used to do it, and this is how I want to do it. So sometimes I have to say, Amanda, calm down. In just a minute, Coach Geck is going to come up here and give the medals out to those that we felt deserved it. She's going to explain a little bit about those. And I just also wanted to say one more thank you to Miss Carrie Haney, who comes to school whenever we ask for a little bit of extra assistance. She's a great asset to have around, and we would just really like to thank her. We appreciate all your hard work.
Couple medals for the girls. We did go ahead and split them into their 2 squads to give more girls the chance to earn what they deserve. We have first our Miss Cheerleader for basketball. Miss Cheerleading Award goes to the girl who has shown lots of positive attitude and leadership roles. Usually goes to the girl who steps up and helps the underclassmen understand what's going on, what they should and should not do. Miss Cheerleader for basketball goes to Amanda Stupi. All right, the next award we have is the Miss Spirit Award for basketball. Miss Spirit is for the girl who shows enthusiastic, positive attitude all the time, whether they like to be there or not. The girls definitely have been worn out with all the events they've had to attend. However, some of them still come with the attitude they want to be there. The Miss Spirit Award goes to Chelsea Rosen. All right, we also have a Miss Cheerleader Award for wrestling, and the criteria stays the same. Miss Cheerleader for wrestling is Carrie LaRose. And last but not least, we have Miss Spirit for wrestling season. Miss Spirit goes to Alyssa Kastner, which is not here. Thank you, girls.
Okay, moving along, it takes us to the wrestling portion. Before Coach Warner gets up here to speak on behalf of the wrestlers, I'd like to again thank the wrestling parents for their support throughout the season. Again, if it wasn't for the support of our wrestling parents in transporting our wrestlers and putting them up in the various places where we go, we could not wrestle the competitive schedule that we wrestle probably. So big thank you from me as athletic director to you parents, and I'm sure, like I said, Coach Warner too will thank the parents. Coach Darnell's not here tonight. As you grapplers all know, he had back surgery, about 2 weeks ago, Coach? 3 weeks ago now, and he's doing pretty good. So he won't be able to be here with us tonight. Wasn't he had flu bug, he had surgery. So anyway, Coach Warner will come up here and introduce and honor all these wrestlers.
I'll start with the JV squad real quick on behalf of Coach Darnell. The report on him is progressing as planned. He still has some pain in his neck. Has to remain as immobile as possible. No traveling in a vehicle unless it's back and forth to the doctor for the next 2 weeks. Hopefully he's back at school in about 4 weeks, and he's really looking forward to having another season with us next year. All right, on the JV, freshman Derek Grieshopper. Derek wrestled in and out of the lineup at 112 and 119 on a JV. He finished with 19 wins, 7 losses. Sophomore, Dustin Schwartz. Dustin wrestled at 119, 125 throughout the year, finished the season with 9 wins, 11 losses. Josh Pinkley. Josh, another freshman. Josh wrestled at 125, 130. He'll be up here with the varsity as well. He won some matches on the varsity. At the JV level, he finished 15 and 10. Junior, Josh Franklin. Josh wrestled in the lineup at 125 and 130. He wrestled a little bit on the varsity as well. Finished JV record 5 and 14. Freshman, Justin Roth. Justin wrestled in the lineup at 140, 145, kind of bounced wherever we needed him there. Finished his JV season 14 and 9. Sophomore, Travis Roth. Travis wrestled at 160, finished with a JV record of 14 and 9. Freshman, Aaron Roth. Oh, thank you, Aaron's here. Freshman, Dalton Schrumpf. Dalton's here. Dalton wrestled most of his season at 152. We had a little bit of knee problems here and there. I think he would have had a better season if he could have been 100% healthy, but he finished with a record of 7 and 20. Sophomore, Adam Keene. Senior, Derek Bosler. Derek's here. Derek had some health issues early in the year. When he finally got healthy, he was in and out, helped us on the varsity a little bit. Wasn't able to get that varsity win, was 1 and 1 on a JV. Sophomore, Zach Adams. Big Teddy. You guys should see Teddy dance in the weight room. It is sweet. Do a little dance for us, Teddy. Do it. Yeah. Teddy wrestled heavyweight first year. Obviously, there was some size mismatches and some experience mismatches, but he's really a pleasure to have around. He finished his first season at 9 and 14 on the JV. Got a couple stat gals, Hannah Jagers and Emily Schwint. Come on up here, guys. Coach Darnell asked me to extend a special thank you to them. They did a great job of taking care of him. You don't know what they'd do without him, with all the paperwork on each individual record. I wanted me to extend to you guys a big thanks. On behalf of the team, we also wanted to thank Chris Petty for his volunteering to assist in some JV tournaments. It was a great help, some great leadership. That was one of those things he didn't have to do. He wanted to extend a special thank you to you too, Chris. We do several JV tournaments in and out of the year. Most of them, there's not even a team score kept. The main goal is for the kids to get as much experience in matches. A lot of times the weigh-ins are conducted and then just match pairings go. So as far as placing in tournaments, really doesn't exist in most of them. We do wrestle 9 JV duels. The JV dual team record this year was 6 wins and 3 losses. JV wrestling for this year. Hey, Pinkley, you two stay. All right, I'll start quickly with the varsity here. I got a couple of guys I'm going to keep up here. First, we'll start off with Justin Roth again. Justin was able to fill a spot with us on the varsity with weight certification and stuff. He really worked to try and get your varsity lineup established early. Sometimes you can't do that due to dates and weight allowances and body fat and hydration levels and all kinds of other things. So it was a while before we had our final varsity lineup established, and Justin was one of those young men. As a freshman, had some youth experience, was able to step in at 145 pounds, and our qualifications to get a varsity letter at wrestling is you must earn the spot, wrestle the match, and then you have to win the match. And he did that a couple of times for us on the varsity this year. So Justin Roth is a freshman varsity letterman. Josh Pinkley also fits that bill. Josh was able to fill in at 125 early for us in the year. Got a couple of wins at a tournament and a duel, so Josh also earns his varsity letter as a freshman. If he watched us much this year, this young man wasn't part of our district wrestling squad, but he was pretty much of a regular in our lineup, filling in either 189 pounds or at 215, Jake Gettinger. Jake's a sophomore for us. We expect big things in the future. He finished with a varsity record, giving up 20, sometimes 30 pounds to whomever he was wrestling. Finished with a varsity record of 18 and 21. The big man, Jesse Martinelli. Jesse's a freshman. Obviously, he was our 103-pounder. It weighed about 93, 94 pounds, which is a huge percent of body weight size to give up, but he still finished the season with 12 and 19. Huge accomplishment. He went to the district tournament out of 15 teams. He finished 4th, and he became a state qualifier as a freshman. Jordan Ritter at 112. Jordan had an outstanding season. We expected big things coming in. He was a returning state qualifier coming into the year. He was 2nd in the district. Once again, a state qualifier. We won a match in the state tournament. We sure would have loved to win 1 or 2 more. Next year, I think that's our goal. Finished with a record of 31 and 21. Kevin LeClaire. Had a little bit of trouble earlier in the year. We finally got Kevin into the lineup. Kevin was a returning state qualifier from last year. Big goals again this year. Got him on track, went to the district tournament, finished as a champion in the district, state qualifier, and we were just 1 match away from medal in the state tournament. So again, big goals. 15 and 13 on the year. Matt Crinsley at 125. Matt was a returning state qualifier from last year. Big goals, tremendous hard worker. Went into the district with not a first seed, but a lower seed. Ended up being our district champion, state qualifier, match away from a medal in the state tournament. Finished with a record of 27 and 26. This is Gary Shins here. Zach Fowler at 135. Zach's a sophomore. Finished with the season 11 and 19. We just had a bad district tournament. I think he was good enough to get to the state tournament, and we're going to get there next year. 140, Aaron Weiner. Aaron's one of our senior captains. Finished 2nd in the district. Is a 2-time state qualifier. Was a match away from medal in the state tournament, and I would love to think we had a shot in that match. We injured our shoulder wrestling the eventual state champion earlier in the tournament. I sure would have liked to been healthy. I think he could have received, maybe achieved that goal of coming home with a state medal. Aaron Weiner, 37 and 16. Daniel Baker. Daniel's a sophomore, competed at 152 and 145. Finished the season 15 wins, 24 losses. 152, Chris Petty. Chris had one of those breakout years. Last year we were a match away from medal in the state tournament. This year we were 2nd in the district, and we did medal in the state tournament. He was 5th. He won that match in the 3rd round wrestlebacks that several of our guys standing here just couldn't do. He got it done. He finished with a record of 43 and 14. John Vogt. John wrestled at 160. We were expecting big things out of John all year, and we got him this year. We were able to stay healthy. We had an injury problem last year. Finishes the season with a record of 51 and 3. He's a district champ, and he's a state runner-up at 160 as a junior. Tyler Tomier, 171. Tyler's another one of our senior captains. He finished 2nd in the district. He was a state qualifier, record 31 and 10. I think we'd love to re-wrestle the state tournament. He was good enough to medal. We just never could win that tough, tight match at the state tournament. 189, Jake Geck. Jake's another young wrestler. He's just a sophomore. We finally got him in the lineup and got him going. He had a great finish. to a year. We would love to see him, get a lot more matches in. He finished with a record of 17-11. He's a district champion, a state qualifier, and he was another one that was just that one match away from being an all-stater for us. Jake Yuck. Parker Wiener. Parker Wiener's another one of our seniors. Parker was a returning state qualifier from last year. Had some big goals. We just did not have a good district tournament. He lost to a young man whom he beat to go to the state tournament. He finished with a record of 14-4. 14-14, excuse me. And last, Travis Nagger, our heavyweight. Travis took a lot of lumps this year, and he got better because of it. He's going to dish them out next year and the years to follow. At the heavyweight, a lot of seniors, a lot of bigger, stronger kids, so it was a tough year for him, but he held in there. He worked hard, and he's going to be all right in the future. He finished with a record of 8-16. My two stat girls, Paige Vessel and Katie Carl. Come on up here, girls. I can't thank these two enough. They travel everywhere. They spend the night. They sit in the bleachers all day and keep my stats for me, so it's invaluable. There's 20-page documents, front to back, and these girls are responsible, so I really appreciate that. So, real brief team comments. Our accomplishments were we were 6-3 in duels. We were part of the Big Three in the conference again. It went Farmington, Jackson, and we were third this year in the SEMO Conference. For the fourth year in a row, though, we were the Class 2 District 1 champions. We give out 3 awards in wrestling. 3 awards. The first one is called Mr. Clutch. It goes to that wrestler who stepped up and won that big match, either when there was a lot on the line to win, or maybe he beat someone that was a tremendous team accomplishment or an individual accomplishment. This year's Mr. Clutch goes to Chris Petty. We had 6 young men wrestling in third-round wrestlebacks in the state tournament. If they win that match, they become all-state. Chris was the only one out of that 6 that won that match. We give out another award. It's called Most Improved. I'm going to say this young man's record as a junior and then as a senior, and you'll understand why. Last year, Aaron Wiener was a district champion for us. He went in the state tournament. He had a record of 18 wins and 30 losses. This year, he was second in the district, state qualifier, match away, 37-17. Tremendous improvement. Most improved Aaron Wiener. Our last award is the Most Valuable Wrestler Award. It's probably pretty obvious who that's going to go to this year with accomplishments that were listed as they came up. This young man's building a tremendous resume as wrestling. He's already a 3-time conference champ. Huge goal this year was a district champ. He's been runner-up before. He's a 2-time state qualifier as a freshman and a sophomore. This year he was a state medalist in the finals of the state tournament. Lost a tough match there, but finished second in the state. He had an outstanding record of 51-3. This year's Most Valuable Wrestler is Johnny Vogt. Some very quick thank yous on behalf of the team. First of all, parents, like Coach Sulzer said, we couldn't do all that we try and get done throughout the season without you, and it's just a tremendous honor to work with your sons and you throughout the year. Thank you for all your support. To my assistant coaches, Nick, Adam, who are here tonight, and Pete, who's not, I thank you. I know it's real tough with young families, and it's a tremendous sacrifice, but I truly appreciate all your knowledge and dedication you give to these young men, and it shows from the beginning to the end. You guys are great assets to our program. Coach Stolzer, the sports boosters, thanks for all your support throughout the year. I know there's lots of other people I need to thank, but I also need to get out of here. Thank you.
All right, I won't be long. We had a pretty good season. I want to thank all the parents who haul us around all year long for those 3 months. It's pretty grueling. We go anywhere from Jeff City all the way down to well, we went to Sykeston this year for conference. So it's a pretty widespread. I mean, parents haul us around. I couldn't ask them to do anything more for us. I mean, they're great. They put food together for us. I mean, I can't say it. They do so much for us. Words cannot describe. It's just amazing. Parents do everything for us. There's so much that goes on behind the curtains that nobody even knows. But without them, nothing can happen. The food, the traveling, it's just great. I love all of them. And I know the team feels the exact same way. I'm going to miss everything about this sport. But coaches over here, they put up with a lot. We don't like practices. They know that, and they just love it. Coach Vogt over here every day puts us through torture, and nobody believes us. And the people that step in on the end of practice are just jaw droppers because they cannot believe what we do. We can't even believe what we do. It's amazing. But without Coach Vogt coming in and doing our conditioning for us, we could not accomplish what we accomplished. So I want to thank Coach Vogt especially for putting up with us for the past 3 years. So thank you, Coach. And Coach Werner is an amazing head coach, just despite what everybody believes. I've been really close with Coach Werner for quite a few years now, and it's going to be sad to actually say goodbye to him. And I am going to truly miss this sport just because of those two guys sitting over to my left. Coach Werner teaches us so much, shows us so much, and just makes the trip so much fun. But me and him were talking, coming home from state, and we were talking about how other teams go to state, and whenever you go to state in football, you have 10 other guys on the field to help you, and basketball, you have 4 other guys on the court. But wrestling, whenever you come into this, you have you and the coaches, and only thing that drives you is them yelling at you and you having enough heart to do it, and they are the ones that give us the heart to do it, and I love them for it. I mean, there's nothing else you can really say about these guys. I mean, they're amazing. They really are. All right, now what they got in the bags is 2 Wii Sports Packs. Now, I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's basically an exercise video game. What we do whenever we go and stay overnight is a couple of the guys bring their Wiis, and we stay up for like 3 hours playing the Wii. And that's all we do, and half the time we're too dead. We don't even want to wrestle the next day. So we got them that, so now the other guys can enjoy it, and I gotta go away, so this kind of sucks, but I just want to say thank you. It's a little something, gift cards in there too, but thank you guys for everything you ever did. Parents, thank you very much. Leah, thanks for taking pictures for all of us through everything. So thank you guys, and thanks.
Never a dull moment over in that wrestling room. I go over there every once in a while, and you talk to coach, and I go in there and watch for a while, and I figure I better leave. I'm afraid to find out what's going on. Okay, moving right along, Mrs. Heil will come up and introduce her Emeralds dance team.
All right. I would like to start by saying thank you to the other coaches, administration, and the Emeralds parents for the support. The girls did attend a camp this summer here and also performed at a Cardinals game. We had 7 football dancers and 12 basketball. And I'll just go ahead and start with the girls who only did basketball. It was Sylvia Benetti, Sierra Fox, Janelle Moore, Callie Moore, and Katie Warner. And then the football dancers were Megan Billings, Allison Huber, Sarah Cool, Taylor Randall, Jacqueline Tomier, Courtney Squires, and Stacy Rucker. And I do have 6 awards to give out. Our most improved award goes to Allison Huber. She was always willing to do whatever it took to learn the dances and was very positive. Our top funk dancer was Courtney Squires. Top jazz was Jacqueline Tomier. Jacqueline helped choreograph many dances for the team and was a young, strong leader. Our top kick dancer was Janelle Moore. Our top palms dancer was Stacy Rucker. And the 110% award also goes to Stacy. This was her 4th year as an Emerald. She was team captain, did an excellent job of leading the team and choreographing all the dances. She's been the one who turned the Emeralds around into a positive experience and a talented team. And she's going to be greatly missed next year. Thank you.
Okay, now to girls basketball. Coach Banks will introduce the JV young ladies, followed by Coach Vogt and his varsity.
All right, we're on the home stretch. Okay, JV girls basketball this year consisted of 8 players, and 3 of them were sophomores, 5 of them were freshmen. At the beginning of the year, watching the girls start, they were pretty raw, and I was really worried. I was hoping that we would at least finish 500, although I never told them that. But I was answered basically with the girls showed me a lot of heart, and at the very beginning of the year we played 2 tournaments. And the first 2 tournaments they had pretty high expectations, and we ended up losing the first 2 games and winning the last game of each tournament. And they seemed kind of downtrodden, and I remember getting in the locker room with them. And there were 2 things I wanted to point out to them, especially with a team that's young, working together and growing, especially when they're going to become varsity players, is that in order to be successful, you have to work as a group, not as individuals. And so finger pointing, yelling, even nail biting each other, all that does is take the friction down a little bit, and it takes away from the team. And so I challenge them to work as a group and to, on and off, basically the court. And I don't know if they work off the court as a group, but it will help them as they get older. The second one was every team needs a leader of some kind. That's what the most successful groups have. So I challenge them to do that. I don't know if one will emerge. So far, there's no one yet, but by the time they're seniors, I really do hope a few of them will have stepped up and filled those shoes. If they do, I think these ladies will have a pretty successful season when they're juniors and seniors. Let me introduce them real quick. Starting with my freshmen up to sophomores: Jessica Filer, Becky Herman, Kelsey Gilo, Gwen Dallas, and Laura Rhodes. Come on up. And my sophomores, Miss Samantha Brown, Steph Finley, and Courtney Campbell. We ended up finishing the season at 13-11, and of the 11 games that we lost, 8 of them were by 5 points or less. So these girls basically fought every game that they played in with the exception of about 3. So I'm really proud of them, and a lot of those games could have gone either way. So this is your JV team.
And varsity girls, juniors, and seniors, you can come on up. I'll try and be brief. I'd like to start off by thanking the administration for our new uniforms and warm-ups. I know it meant a lot to the girls, and we really appreciate looking like a first-class team. Also to Mr. Carruthers, and I do want to point out to you all, Mr. Carruthers has made it a personal mission this year at school to raise the level of school spirit in our winter sports, and he's really done a good job of getting people out in the stands and all. So let's all give a good hand to Mr. Carruthers for all he's done. Coach Stolzer for all that he's done, that the other coaches have mentioned. Coach Coleman and McDaniels for their cooperation. Also, Coach Banks for taking over the girls' JV position this year. It took a little arm twisting, and he was a little nervous coming into it, but he really did a good job, and the girls appreciate it. Also, I'd like to thank Mike Boyd for the St. John Herald and the Park Hills Daily Journal, radio stations, KBDZ, KTJJ, KFMO for carrying our games. And also like a special thank you to all the parents. All their support means a lot to the girls driving to summer leagues, summer camps, keeping scorebooks, whatever I ask or whatever I need at the last minute, all the encouragement you provide to girls. And again, without all your help, we couldn't have a successful season as we've enjoyed. A brief recap on the season. We finished 16-10. Overall, I was really pleased with the girls this season. We always didn't play great basketball, but one thing I always tell the girls is that if you play hard every game, I'll never be disappointed. And if you've seen us play, the girls do play extremely hard all the time. Sometimes we just don't shoot the basketball real well, but it's not for lack of effort. The girls will get in there and fight. They'll dive after balls and do whatever it takes. And sometimes the ball just doesn't fall in the basket for us. But 16-10 is a real good record for this group because we really don't have any superstars on the team. In fact, we have 5 different girls who led us in scoring in different games this year. We also had a great bench. We have several girls that set the bench for us that don't start that could be starting on other teams that we play, and that's a compliment to the girls, and it also makes the team much better to have that kind of depth on your bench that makes the girls in the starting lineup practice hard every day. Our girls are also very team-oriented. I don't think the girls really cared about who got the glory, who scored the points. With this group of girls, it was all about winning, and that's all they really cared about at all times. And that's really a joy to work with girls like that. They never complained about playing time, and that could be a problem when you got 10 girls that deserve playing time, but I never heard a word out of them all year long. And, sometimes they have to swallow their pride a little bit, but they do it for the good of the team, and that helps the team stay tight. And I also emphasize to the girls all the time how it's important that we do have fun, and, the girls they help keep it fun for us in practice, and even when we're losing, they take it hard when we lose, but the next day they come out practice and, they're back to joking around and that sort of thing. So that certainly helps when you got girls that have that kind of attitude about it. I'll start off with the juniors, the varsity letter winners for juniors. First we have Lindsay Burgett. Lindsay started the season splitting JV and varsity time, eventually moved up to varsity only. Lindsay's a tremendous athlete. She has great quickness, great speed, and coordination. And I've told her many times I think she's the most naturally gifted athlete in school. And I just hope that she would, this off-season, spend some time and get a lot better at her shooting. And a lot's going to depend on how well Lindsay plays next year. Next, Holly Fox. Holly is our most polished player, our most consistent performer. She was second team all-conference, and I just found out today she was also all-district first team. There's only 5 girls named. We're in an awful tough district, and she was the only girl named all-district. She led the team in almost every category. She averaged 15 points a game, 8 rebounds, 50% field goal, 64% free throws. She also led the team in assists, and that's very rare for an inside post player to lead your team in assists. That just kind of tells you how unselfish Holly is. She would rather pass the ball than shoot it, and I'm constantly on her to shoot more, but that's just Holly. She wants to get everybody involved, and she's just that unselfish. So she also led the team in assists. Next we have Tish Meyer. Tish is another talented athlete. She stepped in and played the point guard after Megan Shank got hurt for a while, and it's not really a position that Tisha really liked that much, but she handled it while Megan was out, and it's going to make her a better player next year. And just like the rest of her junior classmates, I sure hope she puts some time in this summer in the off season and improves, and look forward to her playing next year. Next, Ricky Ritter. Ricky's come a long way since her freshman year when she had a knee injury. It really slowed her down, and she became a part-time starter this year. A tremendous rebounder, finished third on the team in rebounding, even though she didn't start all the time. And her biggest asset is probably her ability to play several positions and just being a team player. She knows where she's supposed to be at all times, and she's just like so many of these other girls. Ricky don't care about getting the personal glory. She just wants to win, and that's what's most important to her. Next, Amber Sanchez. Amber got most of her minutes on JV this year and played in some varsity games. She got some valuable experience playing JV, and she really became a much better inside player. And with her 5 junior classmates, I look forward to her having a good year next year. Our last junior, Megan Shank. Megan suffered a sprained ankle midway through the season, really missed 5 games, and really limited her when she came back. She struggled with the ankle the rest of the year, and I would tape it every day, and every day it'd be swollen, but she'd get out there and hobble on it and do the best she could do. She's our top outside shooter. She made 35 three-point shots on the year, shot 40% from the three-point line, which is an outstanding percentage for a high school player. And more importantly, it was always the timing of her three-point shots. She always hit them when we need them, and we can always count on Megan to get a big bucket for us. Okay, that brings us to our seniors. We got 4 seniors. This is a special group to me because it's my 4th year here. They started out as freshmen my first year here, so I've got to know them pretty well in the 4 years. Ashley, Kaylee, and Steph all played since her freshman year, and Kelso started her sophomore year, and I've really had the pleasure of watching them develop from a ragtag bunch when they were freshmen into a pretty solid group of girls that know and understand how to play the game of basketball as seniors. Ashley, Kaylee, and Steph in their high school career won 60 varsity games, and I am sure that was probably more than any other class in St. John basketball history. I'm pretty sure that no other class has won 60 games in their career at the varsity level. That's averaging 15 games a year. I'm awful proud of their accomplishments, their leadership, and for sticking with basketball. When they entered high school, basketball wasn't a popular thing to do. Girls were dropping left and right, and I'm awful proud of these girls for sticking it out and not dropping by the wayside like so many of the other girls. First, I'll start with Ashley. Ashley's led her 4 years. She was our 2nd leading scorer this year. She was also a captain. Her, along with Stephanie and Kaylee, have been selected to play in the Daily Journal MAAA Senior All-Star Game at MAC on March 22nd. She helped carry us in a lot of games early in the season with her scoring. She really stepped up her scoring this year. I think the thing I'm happiest for Ashley most, though, is that she really enjoyed basketball this year. She come out of a frustrating cross-country season, and you just hate to see a kid. You can tell look on their face that they weren't happy. And I always tell the girls, if you're not having fun doing this, we're kind of defeating the purpose of what we're doing. And Ashley came out and started having fun and playing good basketball, and I'm just real glad that Ashley ended up having a good year, senior year, and had fun doing it. Next, Kaylee Meyer. I've always told Kaylee, having played basketball with her dad in high school, she plays just like her dad. And just like Steve, she never met a foul she didn't like. She was our team's enforcer on the inside. She liked to play like it was a hockey game, and she was always ready to drop the gloves and get into a scrap. So I'd have to pull her out and set her in the penalty box for a few minutes, then put her back in. She'd go back in there fighting. And late in the season, we was playing a game, and we didn't play too well in the first half. We started pulling away in the second half, and I took her out for a break, and she goes, "Coach, I feel sorry for those other girls." And I looked at her, I go, "Why do you feel sorry for them?" She goes, "Because I'm beating the crap out of them, and the refs aren't calling anything." So that's kind of the way Kaylee played basketball. She provided great leadership for us. She come out and work hard every day. She's a leader in practice and on the floor. It's like having a coach on the floor with Kaylee. By her senior year, she could practically read my mind of what we wanted to do in a game. So she's one of our unsung heroes, and I'm awful proud of Kaylee, and we're really going to miss her next year, miss picking on her about her social life and all those things. So. Next, Kelsey Inman. Kelso is the ultimate team player. She joined the program as a sophomore, And Kelso just loves to compete. She has been the hardest worker on the team since the day she joined the team her sophomore year. She turned into a great defender. She also always had a knack of getting creamed in the middle of the game that provided a few laughs on the bench. She'd always get knocked down, big girls fall on top of her, and she'd bounce right back up. She's an awfully tough kid. I want to thank Kelso for her attitude. She didn't always get as many minutes as some of the other girls, but once again, she never complained, never got a bad attitude. She would just come out and the next day in practice and just work hard like she always did. So thanks a lot, Kelso. And finally, Stephanie Rector. Steph and I have butted heads a few times over her 4-year career. About her junior year, she really settled in and became a leader on the team. She made second team all-conference. She also led the team in steals with 104. And we don't keep records on those kind of stats, but I would definitely think that would have to be some kind of school record, 104 steals in 26 games. That's averaging 4 steals a game, and that's awful good. Basketball came awful natural to Stephanie with her quickness, her agility, her coordination. I was always on Steph all the time that she needed to shoot more in the games, especially her senior year. But it really took her about 3.5 years to develop confidence in herself. And the last half of the season, she was really a terror on the basketball floor. She scored 23, 24 points one game, come out the next night, scored 18, and then turn around and have 9 steals like that the next night. So, when she realized the end was coming, she really stepped up and played well at the end of the season. So I'm awful proud of Steph and all that she's done. And then last, we have our individual awards. I have 3 individual awards. The first award, the most outstanding offensive player, and that is Holly Fox. Thanks, Holly. Next, our most outstanding defensive player, Steph Rector. Thanks, Steph. And our final award is the outstanding team player. The girls vote on this one. They always pick the perfect person. The outstanding team player this year is Kelsey Inman. Oh. Congratulations, Kelso. Forgot our manager, Becky Ringer, was our team manager this year. Thanks, Becky, for all you've done. And finally, I want to thank all the girls and the parents again for helping make our program successful again this year. Underclassmen, we have a chance to be really good next year and contend for possibly a conference or a district championship. If you are willing to make the sacrifices, put in the time in the off season, put in all the time you do in the off season that you're willing to do for volleyball, do the same for basketball, and we'll be good. Okay? Learn how to shoot the ball. Learn how to put it in a basket. Okay? And finally, seniors. Thanks once again, seniors, for all you've done, and we're going to miss you very much. Thank you.